Whispers at Thornwood Abbey. The year 1837 in Scotland, in the fields of Edinburgh, across the green hills and the mist, right after the oak trees that cover the whole surface like a warm blanket. There stands a great castle upon a cliff. It boasts a pure black and Gothic design. The entrance begins at its gate, guarded by the statues of two gargoyles. On the other side of the gate lies a long path of golden cobblestones, neatly arranged to reach the main door of the castle. Above the main door is a large sigil depicting the face of an apple that is entangled in a thorned branch, and it is bleeding. A gruesome sight. A gruesome sight indeed, yet artistic. This symbol has a purpose. On each side of the path lies a garden filled with thorny branches and plants, hence the name of the castle, Thornwood Abbey. On this night, with the forbidding sense of an approaching storm, a party is underway. Carriages arrive one by one along the golden path. But this is no ordinary gathering. It is a lavish dinner organized by the owner of the abbey. Mr. Percy Ashworth, the last descendant of the Ashworth family. His family amassed wealth through trade. His father was a prominent merchant and a senior figure in the African trade at the Honorable East India Company. He was a tall and slim man with a pale and pointy face, with long black hair. Percy fell in love with poetry and storytelling. He acquired an ancient artifact from the East and has invited some of the most important people from England and Scotland to witness this priceless object. Among the guests are the Chief Navy General of England, Martin McKellen, an old man always dressed in uniform. He did not have much of a hair and had an old anchor-like British beard. Judge Caldwell, an esteemed figure in the Royal Department of Justice, a fat old man whose face always depicts the power of gravity. Miss Caroline Silverton, a renowned actress of the theatre, a beautiful ginger and pale woman in love with arts and anti-crafts. Sir William Kent and his wife, Madame Rosalind Kent, one of the serious directors of the East India Company and possibly the richest man in Britain. When he was a young fellow, he got married early in his life and inherited all his father's powers. He is perhaps in his 70s now, and his wife, who had no interest to resemble a human, but a ghost. She was so pale and ugly, but of course, with a rich and wealthy family that is shared with her husband, William Kent. Lady Margaret, a well-known brothel owner, familiar to many of the men in the attendance, with wigs and a lot of makeup. She was in her 40s. And finally, Mr. Arthur Blackwood, a chemist, scientist, and a well-traveled individual. A complete adventurer with brown hair and black eyes and a face filled with experience. He was in his 40s too, and he wore a suit, and he was perhaps the poorest man in the party. They are all gathered at Thornwood Abbey by Percy's invitation to witness an extraordinary Persian artifact. A Zoroastrian mirror that dates back thousands of years. A mirror with Persian symbols and a sigil of a demon on top of it. Percy insists that each guest spends time gazing into the mirror individually because it is no ordinary object. It reveals one's past and the dark deeds they have committed. If misused, it can take control of one's mind and actions. This is precisely what Percy hopes to explore for his novel, the dark and bitter history of these esteemed men and women. Unfortunately, as the storm breaks, they find themselves locked in the abbey. After much drinking of wine and brandy, quarrels and fights erupt. Suddenly, the mirror reflects the portrait of Humphrey Ashworth, the original owner and designer of the abbey, causing it to take control of the space. It begins to whisper their dark pasts, forcing the guests to face their histories. Alas, what must be done? Confront it and heed its gift, or flee? What happens in the end? Who knows? Dear story lovers, this story was created and voiced by me, AmirCooper, and produced by my friend SamTheOwl. We thank you for joining us on this mysterious journey into the whispers at Thornwood Abbey. Your time and your support truly mean everything to us. Every one of our stories is crafted with careful imagination and the hope of sparkling a little bit of magic in the hearts of our audience. If you enjoyed the whispers at Thornwood Abbey, please let us know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to share it with your friends and consider supporting us with your donations through crypto. We thank you for your generosity, my friends. It fuels the creation of future chapters and keeps these stories alive. Together, we will uncover the next chapter with your companionship and our vision. Until then, dare to seek, to be destined to find. We'll see you in the next tale.